Hello everyone, I am Shubham and I work as a market research analyst at Innoventsoft. We at Innoventsoft help startups to achieve organic marketing. For those who are hearing the term organic marketing for the first time, it is simply a way to generate trustworthy and relevant content to increase website traffic and generate revenue. Today our topic of discussion will be tips and tricks for product marketers to generate revenue from organic channels. For the same, we have with us our speaker, Mr. Debasree Panda, founder of Innoventsoft. Before we start, some housekeeping rules. We will record this conversation and share it with you. In case you have any question, please feel free to send us in the chat window and we shall reply to it at the end. Devashish sir, you can now take it forward.
Okay. Thank you, Swam. Thanks a lot. Hi everybody. Good morning and good evening. Based on your geographic location, I hope you are doing well, fantastic. I'll start my presentation with a small wish and pray to the ones who are affected by recent kind of havoc in Ukraine. Hope so. They all will do good. Things will transition well. All right. So today, our topic is tips and tricks for product marketers to generate leads from organic search. So before we jump into the discussion, let me kind of introduce you to the company, Innoventsoft. So we started Innoventsoft in 2021, and we are based out of Bangalore. We started this company with a simple mission to help B2B startups to grow organically using trustworthy and relevant content. Now we have our product called Intelligent Content Marketing Platform, which leverages AI and NLP technologies and provide different kind of recommendations that which content you need to write so that it will attract more website traffic. As of today, we are serving 3 customers based out of US, Opsomex, Tetrad, and Digitate. Now, let me kind of quickly share the agenda. I'll discuss about the trends, what are the key trends and why organic marketing has picked up. And then I'll discuss about the pain points, why B2B organizations, startups primarily are not able to scale. And the third, I'll discuss, share some nuggets of information about tips and tricks for product marketers, content marketers, and the custodians of content in any organization, and how they can improve their content ideation and content generation. And finally, if you have some questions, do not forget to kind of put your questions in the chat box. We'll get to you towards the end of the session. All right. So let us kind of understand the trends in content marketing. Nowadays, if you look at the demand side, the end consumers, they're almost they're all millennials, and they spend more than 50% of the day on digital search. There are different research which says that one report I came across was Harvard Business Review, and it says that due to pandemic, the whole consumption of content, consumption of data has completely changed. Earlier, it used to be just 1 to 2 hours per day. Right now, people are spending more time. The second thing that is being realized on the supply side from now the company that are mushrooming today, the startups that are coming into play, they are trying to deliver service using software. And since the entry level to deliver service to the customer has gone down with thanks to the cloud technologies like Google Cloud and AWS, every company is trying to serve using subscription-based model. They are coming up with their own products. And that is the reason, a wise man has said that every company is a software company today. Now, with that, since the people are catering software to cater to their end customers, but end customers are looking into relying on Google search to identify whether a brand can be trusted or not. That brings us to a trend that online marketing and digital marketing is very, very essential. Now, another thing that has emerged recently is the third-party cookie consent. Due to growing policy changes, and many countries, they have put a lot of restrictions on protecting the private data of their people. Google, Meta, and Apple are facing headwinds, and they are providing the consent to the end user to accept or reject cookies. Now, the problem with that is, any B2B marketers, if they are spending a lot of money on ads, they will not be able to profile them very accurately, in accurate fashion. And with that, the ads has become ineffective. Problem with is ads has become ineffective for most of the startup. Earlier, they used to achieve good returns with minimal investment. Now that has gone down. Now the buying happens quite fast. People are trying to develop a perception about a brand using the Google search. And third is they are relying completely on the online search because they're spending a lot of time. So with the three things, kind of symbolizes or supports our argument that the content has become more important than ever. Now, let us kind of spend a little bit of time on understanding the content marketing process in any B2B and B2C organization. If you look at the whole content generation process, which starts ideally from ideation, and then what content to write, and then what content to write now, that is prioritization phase, and the third is creation of the content, and all the way till optimization of the content and promoting it, and then using the content to relate to your audience in the lead generation phase. The whole process is broken. Either some of the stages takes a lot of time. People spend a lot of time on understanding what content to write. They will try to discuss, different tools and technologies. They'll try to see what competition is writing, and they'll try to come up there, create the, some content plan. The next is they will not know how to optimize it. And third is, they will not know how to improve it. Once you write some content, you just throw it away, and no one looks into that older content. The content naturally becomes stale. So since the whole kind of process is broken, people are not able to generate good content or content that matters, the target audience want. So with that, we have kind of identified many customers and many prospects that we are talking to, especially the B2B companies, startups. They say that we are not able to generate very quality leads with our marketing effort, and our return investment on the marketing side is quite low. And there are also kind of many companies, it's a very funny story that when we talk to many customers about little bit matured customers or customers who have a lot of money, they said that, hey, we have acquired many SEO tools. That I have Href, I have subscription to SEMrush, I have all the data pouring from Google Analytics, and still my content marketing sucks. And they're trying to identify if there is a solution out there to build the content and increase their organic traffic. So the question, a perennial question that remains among all the startups, that is how to create good content for search so that the brands get visible. Now, we have identified that 5 steps to master content for organic channel. And those 5 golden steps are: the number 1, in sequential fashion. I'll explain each one of them a little bit later. But the first step is understand your domain and keyword properly. If you need to understand what your customers would be searching in different stages of their sales journey or customer journey. That's number 1. The next phase is understanding what market share your competition has for these keywords. For example, your competition may or may not necessarily be in the strategy group. It can be anybody because it's online. And how much share or how much traffic share are they getting to their website? It will help us to give a little bit of direction to prioritize the content. Then the third one is write the content for those specific keywords that you have prioritized. And once you write the content, the 4th step is to optimize it. It is also known as SEO. Digital marketers are very savvy with this word, but you need to optimize content. The last one is once you write the content and optimize it and publish it, the story doesn't end there. It has to be constantly monitored, measured, and constantly improved so that it keeps giving you the necessary results. So with that, let's kind of start with the step one. That is, understand your domain and the keywords. Now, understanding the domain, first of all, like I said, it's very essential to identify the pattern through which your customers should be searching in different stages of the customer journey. Now, in the right-hand side, I have given a small graph that represents for a particular domain. It's the testing domain. We consulted one of our client, and I just took a screen grab of the of a platform. So what essentially we are trying to showcase here is the keywords which are relevant to your domain and the search that your customer would be doing in the Google is quite essential for you to start your story with or start your journey with organic marketing. Once you understand that, hey, these are the list of keywords, and then you need to identify the respective search volume, how much or how many people in the whole world are searching for this keyword. Now, once you do that, you have to prioritize these keywords. The tip here over here is look into the Google ad planner. You have to put these keywords into Google keyword planner, and then you have to find the traffic volume. And then you can judiciously prioritize them. Whichever, if you identify 50 keywords, then you can prioritize, hey, let me prioritize this 25 keywords. The step two is, once you identify those 25 keywords, for each keyword, you have to gauge the competition. It means that how much market share of traffic volume for those keywords your competition is drawing. In the right hand side, the graph says there are 5 organizations. Then how many traffic, how many pages they have written for the particular keyword, and how much traffic they are drawing to their website. That is essential to know. And then you can prioritize again. Out of those 25 set of keywords that I was talking that you can prioritize those set of keywords. Hey, let me kind of focus on these 4 or these 5. Maybe already competition is too kind of ahead of me. Let me not venture into that, but let me pick up some other keywords. You can kind of have a discussion in your team. And one more point I want to highlight over here is that the competition may or may not be your strategic group. For example, in today's world, Apple will not be competing directly with Samsung. Of course, it does, but it also competes with a YouTuber, who would say, or who's go on saying that, hey, you know what, Apple iPhone is not doesn't provide any value. You can try some cheap $100 phone, etc. And those videos can also be challenging. If they are ranking at the top, then that can be challenging to kind of devoid your consumers from having a good perception about your product. So the kind of tip over here is everyone is your competition. Treat everybody in the online as your competition, and try to track where who is drawing the most traffic for that keyword. Then refer some of the SEO tools. Of course, if you have access to SEO tools, that's great. Otherwise, we provide integration with top-notch SEO visibility tools, which will provide you with the data. Now let's come look at the third. Step third is writing the content for these keywords. Now, when you write the content for these keywords, you have to understand the customer journey. Now, the customer journey for one particular domain can be different from another particular domain. Let's take, for example, for service, the maintenance of the or providing the service can be long for IT service companies. For product, the sales or the education part can be a little bit longer. So there are different stages, and the time of the stage where at which a customer particularly spends some time can be different for a different domain. And so based on that, you have to understand your customer journey for your domain, and then create a content map. For example, one of the famous framework which has been used by many domains is called IDA, awareness, interest, desire, and action. We have taken the framework, IDA framework, and integrated in our platform to help many customers to formulate their content plan. Now, three important things that I'll highlight three important things. The first one is identifying the stage of the customer, which stage you are targeting, or which stage of a customer journey life cycle you are targeting. That's one. Second thing is identification of persona. Let's say your content can be different for a buyer, and you can have a different piece of content for influencer or maybe user. All right, and then the third is identification of the keyword primarily, because our discussion started with keyword, looking at the competition in that particular keyword, and then writing the content based on that keyword. So consider persona, stage, and keyword, and then focus on story. Most of the time, people do not focus on story. They just try to give some facts, but focus on formulating a good storyline. That is quite important. Then publish fast. Do not wait for review cycles. There are companies we talk to, they spend near about 2 months for review, and people will give their opinions. So avoid that bias and just publish it quickly. Your customer need some content to consume. And remember, no content is bad content. Every content is good content, but if only it's been well thought of. That's all. Then moving on to the next step, that is optimize. I want to highlight one point over here. There are many organizations who try to optimize their content, but unfortunately, optimizing bad content will not result anything. But optimizing a content that has been well thought of, has been generated with a particular procedure, will yield you great results. So in this in a stage optimize, I would highlight that first prepare the content. Optimization can be done automatically. We provide our tool called Intelligent Content Marketing Platform, and automatically the ICM platform can optimize your content and it'll tell you, give you a score out of 100 that hey, your score is bad, and it will give you suggestion to improve. You can go and fix quickly, and maybe it'll take you just 5 minutes to improve your score, and then done, you're done. So over here the trick is there are certain sections, elements which you need to take care of. You use the ICM platform or not. By the way, ICM platform is free for use. You can use it for free. But the most important thing is always write a good meta title, and which is very much centered around your keyword. Then you write a meta description. Usually the meta description is 160 characters, and you need to kind of explain what is your content all about. Snappy title and a little bit of 2 or 3 line description, but 160 characters. Please remember that. Then adequate header tags. Some writers, they tend to be a little bit poetic in nature, but business doesn't understand, and consumer do not give judge a brand based on how quirky or snappy your title is, and even Google doesn't give you some rank. So always remember, your header tag has to be very much contextual and inclined towards business. It cannot be poetic. It cannot be narrative. It has to be very centered around your keyword. That's one. And the fourth one is tip is always try to give some images. And that's kind of very good for readers to connect. Instead of having a wall of text, instead of writing 1,000 words, people will get bored. People love visualized elements. So try to give 2 or 3 elements, images to explain your thought process. If you are writing about a product story for users, do not hesitate to put product screenshots. And finally, consider SERP. So SERP is usually is nothing but in the Google. There are sections where you put something and you search. Then Google says people also asked for. There are certain elements you can pick. If it is relevant for your content, or you have written something, covered something around that topic, you can just take that, sentence and put that in your H1 or H2 tags. All right. So this is optimization. By the way, our platform does it for free. So in case you want this, you can just subscribe for our platform for free of cost. Now, the fifth and most important phase is to monitor, measure, and improve. Now, for every work, 20% is development and 80% is maintenance. So, as a part of maintaining that the content base, so that it doesn't go stale, you have to constantly monitor the performance, whether it is giving you adequate results as you expected or not. And if it does not, then you have to constantly optimize it. And for that, you can check there are certain KPIs like how many impressions, how many clicks are you getting, what is the average position of your content in the Google page. So the tip is kind of choose the right metrics. There are often companies make a fault of choosing the wrong metrics. They'll go, oh, my backlink is wrong, but I have less backlinks, I have no hyperlinks. Those are important but not critical. The critical metrics are impressions, clicks, and average position. That's all. So the next tip is if you have a best performing content, then try to reuse it. And what I mean by reuse is uh, you can convert, let's say there's a best performing blog. You can take that and convert that into an ebook and try to place an ad on it or try to place promote it in other blogs that, hey, you know what, I have a very cool ebook, and if you want, then you can read it and kind of try to increase your outreach. And that way people, instead of, if some people are reading a different blog and they are attracted to that ebook, they'll eventually give the personal information and eventually they'll become your lead. Now that we have covered 5 major strategy, I also want to kind of quickly highlight the beyond step 5. For customers who are a little bit matured, they would matured in terms of achieving organic marketing. They have kind of automated the 5 different stages. The 6th stage or the notional stage, which we call as beyond step 5, is that try to improve your team. Once you've championed this 5 stages, define a team. Have a team of writers, copywriters, digital marketers, and onboard them into a single platform or single process. And try to have a cadence of content generation, content optimization, content monitoring. So that's important. The second set is having a goal. Every company, every project needs to have an objective. The content cannot be generated without any objective. So it's kind of very, very and highly essential for team to understand what is the goal for metrics. Like, hey, in maybe 3 months period, I want to produce 6 content and I need to have at least 100,000 impressions or maybe 1,000 clicks in a quarter. That should be a goal. Define the goal, and then you prepare the content which are aligned to the goal. And you can deprioritize certain content which are not aligned completely to the goal. One of the company we spoke with, they have written content around their partnership, but unfortunately that didn't yield any result to them. That didn't get them more web traffic. And eventually they did not generate a single piece of lead from organic channel, neither from ads in last 2 years. So that's a kind of unfortunate part, and I hope you liked the tips and tricks. In case you have some questions, just do let me know. Or if you want to try our product, or if you have some feedback for me, please feel free to reach out at 𝗧𝗯𝗹𝗲@innoventsoft.com. Thank you. And if you have any questions, then please let me know.
Thank you so much, sir. I can already see that the chat window is already flooding. We have a lot of questions coming in. So I would come forward with the first question itself. So the first question here is that, is SEO a one-time activity?
So SEO is not a one-time activity. It's an ongoing activity. Every time someone has to kind of do the optimization again and again. The whole purpose of SEO is to rank your content in the Google's first page. And there are possibilities that your rank might slip from the first position, because every time there are some content coming up, people are writing the content all the time. So it's essential to monitor your content. So it's not a one-time; it's an ongoing activity.
Sure, sir. Thank you. So another question goes like, does producing large amount of content frequently gives a guarantee for generating leads?
That's a very good question. Yeah. So it's actually it's a little bit contextual. Um, Large amount of content, numerous content, or will not give you any leads, but large number of content that matters to the audience will definitely give you the leads. For example, if you are producing 50 blogs in a year, and those blogs are not tied to the customer lifecycle journey, then you'll see that there is no conversion. People are just coming and bouncing off from your website. They are not able to relate what you've written. But in the same time, if you write 10 content, 1/5 of the content in the whole year, but very tied to the customer pain points and very much tied to the customer journey. Sometimes you educate, you kind of give some free trial, you make them understand how to use certain things. So in that case, they will like it. And if there are more content of that nature, then obviously that you will see a lead pouring in through your website. That's a good question.
Right. Right. So the next question is, what is the best content length? I mean, the person should mean that what should be the ideal length of a content?
Ideal length, yeah. Industry is quite divided when it comes to content length. There are people who think that writing content which are more than 2,000 words will perform better. There are other set of people who think that writing concise, small, 700 word-ish content is good enough to generate a good amount of leads. So in my opinion, I think not very short, not very lengthy. Ideal can be 1,000 to 200 words is adequate to explain your thought process. In case your content becomes longer, you can divide them into series blocks, series 1, series 2, or you can tie them up using the internal links or hyperlinks. 1,000 to 1,200, 1,300 words is good enough. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Right, sir. So our next question is, what should be the right social media strategy to promote organic content?
Right. So yeah, so we have done some analysis regarding that. People usually think that social media will provide contribute to organic marketing, or it'll help to um, rank your content better in Google. And Google, unfortunately, Google privacy policies and product explanations and the principle doesn't promote it. They say that the rules are quite different from social media. They are not, their algorithms does not take social media into account. But here is the fact. The fact is, if a person is liking a particular post in social media, there is a likelihood that he will visit your website and accept the cookies. And once he remembers your brand, the next time he searches something in the Google for his pain point, and he finds your brand coming on the top 6 in the first page, there is even more likelihood that he will remember that brand and he will consume the content. Typically there's a practice that people select only the first 5 or first few links of their Google search, and they even do not bother to go to the top 50 bottom 50% of the Google's first page. But if the brand they have learned somewhere in social media, they've liked some content in social media, there's an even likelihood So they will end up clicking your content in the Google's, even though it's bottom half of the Google's first page, and that will eventually give you a benefit and help the content to be ranked up in the Google's page. So the point is, it helps. The social media strategy definitely helps.
Thank you so much, sir. So, due to limited amount of time, I will be asking you the final question for the day.
Yeah.
So the final question goes like, the content should be more professional, or should it be in a manner that everyone can understand it easily?
That's a good question. Actually, that for that I have to kind of give another fact that the audience is quite changing, is completely changing. 10 years back, the buyers were usually baby boomers to some extent, but today millennials are influencing the decisions. If not their buyers, they're influencing the decisions quite a lot, and the users are Gen Z, or you call it Gen Y or Gen Z. Those are the users. They do not like language to be very professional. They like it to be semi-professional, which a content which speaks to them, because they come across, they're bombarded with different channels or different medium where the content is informal to semi-formal. It's no way formal. So this is the kind of pattern which has emerged in content writing, that it has to be semi-formal, or you can not so informal, but I would say semi-formal is the best way. Not formal, not completely informal. That's the best strategy.
Correct. Thank you so much for this session, sir. So as we come to the end of the session, I would like to thank Mr. Debasree Panda for sparing his valuable time and enlightening us. I hope the audience found this session to be very informative for them and helpful as well. A special thanks to the audience for their patience and keeping this session extremely interactive. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, have a good night, and see you soon in the next session. In the meantime, you all can move on to our website and check out our product. And why not? It's absolutely free after all. That's it for today. Bye bye. Over and out.